Here is a short podcast discussion with Sandy Sanderson and Dr. Bijoy John about the mechanism of action for transdermal magnesium absorption. Most people are aware that our skin can absorb magnesium salt from a bath soak, but when dry applying magnesium oil to skin, other factors come into play. So we find that the use of the magnesium, because when the stores in the cells are very low, the body panics too much. So the stress hormones are like unchecked. The adrenaline's pumping them out, even if you have no worry, even if you don't have a worrying thought. And that's where the thyroid comes in, because they're working in tandem, the thyroid and the adrenals. They're always in a panic mode. Something's wrong. You got to fix it. You got to fix it. And the mind's then going, well, what do I fix? How do I fix it? And so all sorts of worrying thoughts come in, everything except how to fix the problem. And
Correct.
so people end up in like a merry-go-round. They can't get out of that revolving door.
Yes.
And so
Same.
a lot of practitioners that we deal with that use our products are using it now as an adjunct to their therapies, and it helps all the therapies work better. Because the first thing, even if you're a psychologist, if the muscles are tense and people just can't relax, you can't get through into the mind. You can't access anything unless there's that relaxation. And it's paralleled and mirrored in sleep. You can't get your deep regenerating sleep if you're pumping too many stress hormones.
So I mean, so the transdermal, the absorption is better compared to the pill, right?
Yes,
that's what I take from your podcast.
Yes, no digestive issues involved. And I've found several studies that put them on my website underneath on a page, Magnesium Science. So that links to the studies where they've tested people with magnesium water. So the amount that normally would be in spring water is very easily absorbed over the gut wall. There's no issues with. And so the magnesium chloride is the salt normally occurring in surface waters and salt water. So that's the most absorbable and bioavailable form. And as they titrated upwards, less and less was going across the gut wall and more was wasted in the digestive system. So the gut wall has a certain window or range of absorbability. And as the concentration goes up, it's a curvy linear relationship. Less and less is absorbed. So when you're taking tablets, you might take a 300 milligram tablet. You're not even getting half of that actually making it across the gut wall. It's all wasted. But if you put magnesium products on your skin that deliver 200 or 300 milligram of magnesium, you have the potential to absorb all of it. So first goes into the epidermal layer, which is a catchment. It's a reservoir. How much you can take up depends on the collagen structures. And if the skin is very thin or depleted or very dry, then the capacity is less, and that has to be built up over time. But nevertheless, we combine the magnesium chloride with good fats, rich fats, because the skin is lipophilic. So the infused magnesium comes inside the epidermal layer with the fats and sits there until the body is ready to absorb in its own time. So it's very self-regulating. That's why you can never use too much this way. So it's because there are no chemicals in there that breach that barrier. It just sits in there as a nutrient, like your vitamin D that you make on the skin from sun exposure sits in that epidermal layer and is absorbed a number of ways. And they've tested this either via hair follicles or the capillaries that attach via the dermal layer underneath. And another study has found that it's also transcellularly absorbed cell to cell via membrane channels called TRP6 and 7. And this is what a lot of doctors haven't been taught. And it's new emerging science coming out, because the preconceived idea was, first of all, magnesium is water soluble. You can't absorb water through the skin. But we've overcome that by combining it and emulsifying it with fats. So the lipid absorption is very good, high quality. The body then can absorb free magnesium ions transcellularly. And if you can't test it with a blood test, because only 1% of magnesium is in the blood. It is transient, but it's stored in the tissue cells of the muscle and bone, which sacrifice their magnesium stores for the needs of the blood, because it has to be in a critical range, as you would know. By the time you get to the lower end of that critical range in the blood, you're very, very, very sick. So, and the tissue cells have lost almost all of their stores. They're like running on low, and the red light's going on, the panic in the body's going on. Lots of magnesium deficiency symptoms can be present, even though blood tests show still within the normal range, and that's because the tissue levels have fallen.
The cellular level is low.
Yes, exactly. So what we do is we promote more the magnesium anti-aging effects, and it's cosmetic, and it's a skincare, and makes you look younger, but it's also primarily, we didn't want to go down a medicine pathway with the promotions, didn't want it to be thought of as a medicine, but just it is a nutrient, like drinking water. You don't need a license to prescribe water. We just drink water because we have to have that nutrient regularly, every day, every few hours, you have to top up your water. It is the same with magnesium. It's as important as water. In fact, magnesium has the strongest relationship with water, up to 400 times. It can grow in its hydration shell, so it can absorb so much water. And that's what gives it this flexibility in the body. That's why magnesium brings water into the cells and increases the hydration level. So if you want your cardiovascular system to be juicy and flexible and spongy and fluid, you need the right amount of magnesium in there to create the negative charge, where the blood vessels bounce off one another because they have the right electrical charge.
Helps with blood pressure.
Yes, it does. And there's always a relationship. So the more stress, the more it pushes the blood pressure up, because you're peeing out too much magnesium in the urine every time you have stress. And so low magnesium leads to sugar, diabetes, and all sorts of metabolic issues. I hope you like this conversation and will share it with others. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you want to listen to other Body Charge conversations, click like, subscribe, the bell icon, and click all notifications. Subscribe to our newsletter to get updates on blogs, podcasts, videos, and magnesium special offers at electramagnesium.com.au. Relax, recharge, and recover.